today's operations and personnel assigned. DS Sharples and DC Winterton carrying on with the Duquesne disappearance.
Let's go.
DC Murray, you've indicated developments in the train assault, so please follow those on. DS Hollins, I'm passing over your responsibility for the McAllister fraud to DI Broughton. DS Hollins.
Sorry?
I'm tasking DI Broughton with the McAllister fraud.
But I was nearly there with...
A circumstance has arisen. DI Broughton is taking over.
But...
I'm allotting you another duty. We've had complaints of indecency concerning an exhibition at the Diomedes Gallery in Derby Street. I'd like to use your unique knowledge to follow those up.
Hey?
Your daughter's an artist, isn't she?
Student.
Still, I expect she might have been able to enlighten you on a few things.
So how exactly has the public been outraged exactly?
Apparently the exhibition utilises human body parts.
What, like the German bloke?
I believe in this instance there are particular issues that are causing offence. I'd like you to use your tact and sensitivity to discover what they are.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Crenshaw. I will see you on Sunday. Oh, do not worry, Dr. Bond. This appliance is for my use.
It's a cooker.
It is a hob. I am going to be preparing luncheon for all of you today.
Isn't that a bit dangerous?
Oh, thank you for your consent, but I do not think I will come to any harm.
I wasn't talking about you. I meant the surgery, you know, fire risks.
Can I have a word about this gallery thing?
I wasn't kidding when I said it needed tact and sensitivity.
I'd much rather be out nabbing a fraudster like McAllister.
Did I not make it clear? I want DI Broughton on the case.
Why?
It seems you're distracted.
I'm distracted.
I think your personal issues are affecting your work.
So is that the reason why you're taking me off the front line?
Well, the front line is where I draw it. What I'm tasking you with requires observation and method, the skills that recommended you to CID. Try and remind me that you still have them. That's all.
Oh! Hi, Dav. Jimmy's over at the mill today.
Actually, I was here to, No worries, I'll just...
Do you want to come through?
Okay.
Getting an early start, are we?
My former employer, Mr. Godfrey, always used to say, preparation is everything. So I prefer to leave nothing to chance.
Yeah. Interesting ingredients.
Moroho, wild spinach, ditlo, and lihludi beans. Rutabaga to make vegetable potchi. And everything for the centerpiece. Serobe.
And what is serobe?
It is an aromatic stew made with the finest goat offal.
Unusual.
My family, we always used to make it on very special occasions.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be some feast. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Well, I hope my execution lives up to your expectations. Oh, millet flour.
Good God.
It's lunch.
Really?
I thought you liked trying new things.
I do. So you want to have another blood test then?
Oh, Jimmy thinks I should. Especially as I didn't go back to the hospital in India for my results.
Dav.
Yeah, I know. Jimmy gave me enough grief about it last night. Did my head in so much I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I heard you padding around.
I got up, had a couple of whiskies.
Jimmy's Welsh single malt.
Tidy drop of stuff.
Yeah, I bought him that for Christmas. Well, I can do another test for you now if you want.
Will you do it?
Just a small prick.
Oh, no comment. I'm not very good with blood.
Don't worry. I am.
Imogen, it's your dad. Have you got a minute? Okay, right. I wonder if you could help me with a certain Artist.
What? Con artist?
Oh, ha, ha, ha. That's the sarcasm. I know you think I'm a Philistine from Philistine Central, but this is kind of serious. His name is Ray Steger.
Don't you mean Rye Steigler?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, he's got an exhibition on at the...
The Diomedes Gallery? Our head of department's arranging a trip for us next week. You know, Steigler was really famous in the 80s.
Right, so is this his way of getting back in the charts?
Well, it's his first exhibition for a long time.
Is that why the exhibition's so deliberately controversial?
Most good art is controversial.
Yeah, I know, but he's using human body parts.
And?
And? Don't you think that's a bit...
What, like using your own blood, you mean?
No, that was different. That wasn't on public display.
It was on display at the college.
Yeah, to an invited audience.
If you're so squeamish, then why are you going?
I'm not squeamish in any way. I'm here in an official capacity.
You're what?
Somebody's complained.
You can't do that. That's censorship.
Oh, Imogen.
There is no way that the police should be allowed to interfere in an artist's work.
No, it's not interfering.
It's infringing human rights.
No, it's not. It's nothing of the sort. Anyway, if you don't mind, I am an officer of the law fulfilling my duty. Anyway, thanks for your help. Totally unreasonable. Just like your mother.
Here you go.
So when will the results be back then?
In a few days.
Days?
Yeah, it used to be weeks.
So have I got anything to worry about?
With hepatitis?
I mean, you're not going to cure it with a dose of cough mixture?
Well, it depends on what type you've got.
Type?
There are 3 types, A, B and C.
What's the worst?
Well, you will have to manage it. Hepatitis causes damage to the liver, so for the time being, you will have to completely cut out on alcohol.
Does it affect your hearing?
Why?
Only I could have sworn you said completely cut out alcohol.
Yeah, I did. Alcohol increases the rate of scarring to the liver.
Man, that's the only thing that makes life worth living. That and my Charlotte Church calendar.
Well, treatments are good these days, and depending on what type you've got, you should be able to lead a relatively normal life.
You have not met my relatives. So, not as bad as I thought. I'm tempted to go for a pint. Cheers, Sha. You're a mate. And, lush with it.
Has a graphic immediacy, don't you think?
It's graphic and immediate.
It's reminiscent of Rye's Greenwich Village period, but the development is an emotional universe away.
Interesting colours.
So are you local press or freelance?
I think he's honing his critical faculties to a different purpose. Sherlock Holmes is credited with powers of deduction, working from a set of premises, coming to particular conclusions. Of course, he was a consulting detective, not an official one.
You're a policeman.
Detective Sergeant Hollins, Leatherbridge Police.
Good. Because I really want to press charges against that maniac who damaged one of Rye's pieces.
Well, some might say damaged, others might say he added to it. In the name of direct art.
It was vandalism. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, actually, I'm here in connection with a different allegation.
You've come not to praise Caesar, but to bury him.
There's been some complaints.
About what?
The exhibition,
From who?
from members of the public.
Oh, don't tell me. Some geriatric with a Mary Whitehouse complex?
Well, I'm not in a position to tell you who made the complaint, only that it relates to a matter of indecency.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
Show me your search warrant.
I'm afraid I don't need one.
Damned if I'm gonna let the state interfere with this gallery. I'm calling your chief constable and the member of parliament.
That's fine, madam. I really am only following up a complaint.
Bella's very passionate. Go.
Good grief.
What's wrong?
Has something been murdered?
It's just a different type of cuisine, okay?
It's an olfactory assault. At work. I really can't stand this. I'm gonna have to speak to the woman.
I think it smells nice. All right, just be tactful, okay?
Mrs. Tenby, the smell from your cooking is awful.
If that is your opinion, I find it quite...
It's not just my opinion. My patients are beginning to wilt under the fumes.
Well, I have received no complaints.
It's probably because they were too busy passing out.
Don't you think you're being a little prejudiced?
Don't be ridiculous. My point is, this is a health centre, not a restaurant.
Okay, I think that Mrs. Tembe is being very generous in offering us a taste of her culture, and perhaps you're being a little small-minded in causing such a fuss.
Thank you, Dr. Granger.
Are you running for political office or something?
Dr. Carmichael.
This isn't tolerable in a working environment, and I have no idea who encouraged you to think that it would be.
Dr. Carter gave me permission. He is a great patron of my cooking.
Maybe his bow tie strangled his taste buds.
If Dr. Carter were here,
If Dr. Carter were here, I would say exactly the same thing to him. Sandwiches, acceptable. Salad, acceptable. Sushi, at a push. But noxious stew of indeterminate origin...
It is not indeterminate. It is cerobe, in my family's own unique interpretation.
Okay, then maybe I could just hazard that your family's unique interpretation is going off the rails.
My cooking is firmly on the rails.
Smells more like it's heading straight for the buffers.
It smells fine to me. I think you are against Dr. Carter's sociable suggestion.
The sociable thing to do would be to get rid of the smell.
Okay, ladies, I think that we can take this elsewhere.
Okay, Daniel, if you want to help, speak to this woman.
Actually, you should speak to this woman. She is free from gratitude as an okapi is from feathers.
Fine. If no one else is interested in the health and welfare of our patients and our staff, then I will have to do something.
I take it my work's not to your taste.
Well, my taste isn't really the issue here.
Yeah. More like some median standard of what the public should be allowed to see.
I suppose there has to be some kind of standard of, well, common decency.
Who decides that? You?
No, I've just been sent here to gather the information.
Oh. Well, I guess you must know a lot about art.
Well, actually, my daughter is an artist.
Huh. Well, perhaps she'll make like Damien Hirst and allow you to retire.
So, your work here is mainly made up of human elements.
Isn't all art composed of human elements? Brain, body, soul, art is alive. Why not use the body as material?
Come to think about it, my daughter used her own blood in one of her pieces.
So, your blood too.
Not unless she drained it out of me while I was asleep.
She's of your blood. You were inherent in that work. You and her mother.
I cannot believe the answers I'm getting. All they're saying is that you're following...
Due process, I did mention that.
Well, I'd like to mention that I find the process abhorrent. And the very presence of a police officer in an art gallery is reminiscent of nothing more than fascist oppression.
Is the gentleman unwell?
Well, you have to say the atmosphere is a little non-conducive.
Non-conducive to what?
There is something of an odour.
smell nothing strange. What kind of odor do you mean?
Doesn't matter.
Bella, I think he's just doing his job.
Yeah. And he also objects to being called a fascist.
I object to censorship, especially in my gallery.
Oh, look,
I've been palmed off with excuses from everyone. It's not just a job, it's the machinations of a repressive state.
it's got nothing to do with the state.
Well, then it's the blundering actions of its reactionary minions. If I have to go to prison for the sake of freedom of expression, then so be it.
Oi! Adam! Let him open this door! You'll find yourself in a lot of trouble!
Youth loves a cause.
We are going to send the message that we will not stand for police interference in artists' work.
Mrs. Tempe, have you seen Mrs. Farley's notes?
What?
Mrs. Farley.
Dr. Bond, I am not one to criticize your normally impeccable manners, but I think your speech would be better served if you loosened your grip.
Mrs. Farley's notes, please.
Right, that is it. Everybody out.
Where is the fire?
It's a biohazard, and it's in the staff room.
All right, enough of the funnies. I want a uniform down here now. Pronto.
Would it help if I apologized?
No. It'll be Bella who's apologising.
After you take her downtown.
Sorry?
Well, I take it you're going to arrest her.
Remarkably enough, that had crossed my mind.
She's a headstrong woman.
Don't talk to me about headstrong women. Is it your blood?
Some is my subjects.
Who are your subjects?
My wife. Lorianne.
She's beautiful.
She was.
Step away from the building, please, huh? There was no hint of conflagration.
There was more than a hint of noxious overboiling.
Better noxious overboiling than an obnoxious attitude.
Ladies.
I was concerned with the integrity of the practice.
And how about my integrity?
And how about the authorities condemning the surgery?
All it would mean to you is to lose the means to deport yourself in your usual flamboyant fashion.
Flamboyant? In what sense?
I think you know very well.
Please.
Strutting around like some inflated peacock.
I thought that's what you were cooking. What the hell's going on? Mrs. Tenby is doing her best to asphyxiate us.
I was preparing lunch.
Same thing, apparently.
I have just spent the morning extolling the virtues of my very sensible, level-headed staff to the PCT, and I come back to... I don't know. Chaos, a shambles,
Chance for a Chinese takeaway?
not funny. OK, I want a full account. Now.
Okay, I'm in my room. I am being a doctor. I'm being a
very
Mrs.
desperate
Tenby
thing
is
to do.
cooking
Now,
food in the
this
staff
woman
room.
has
This is
been
not a
nothing but
restaurant.
a
There are
breathing.
people in the
She
waiting
has
area who
filled
are mentioning...
everybody-
What do we want?
Freedom of expression!
When do we want it? Now!
No censorship!
We refuse to compromise in the face of unwarranted interference by the authority. As you can see by the number of people who have turned up to protest, this sentiment is widely shared, and the authorities should take note. No limits can be prescribed on the impulse to create art.
Lorianne was 34 when she died. Breast cancer. It was diagnosed late and it had already spread.
I'm sorry.
Thought it was my end, too. But you know how to bring it about. Drinking, walk into the ocean, take your hands off the steering wheel. I rolled up to this old friend from the Haight-Ashbury days. He was living in this artist colony in Pasadena. And he said, now you have your subject. You've been searching all these years, and now she is your subject. And we, had already started working on the blood paintings. It was symbolic, but this was more. This was her very presence. I had some of the blood she gave before she died.
Frozen?
Yeah. And I made these works. These last works. For her. They're almost the most precious thing I have of her.
Almost. So what's the most precious?
I have her heart. Do you want to see it?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't think that.
Absolutely sure?
Absolutely.
Come on. I have her heart.
Does one of you want to explain what happened?
Dr. Carmichael was behaving in a rude and arrogant fashion. After Dr.
One at a
Carmichael...
time. One at a time.
The evacuation ruined my Serobe.
The evacuation was prompted by the Zerobi.
Serobe.
Whatever. It could kill a bison at 20 paces. For all I know, it probably is bison.
Not helping, Zara?
It was the finest organic goat.
Not after you'd carbonized it.
Okay, so...
If Dr. Carter had been here, it would never have happened like this.
Oh, no. He would have compared the odour to something between a Perrigo truffle and Audrey Hepburn's décolletage.
Okay, stop it. Stop it. Let me get this straight. You are telling me that I have just apologised to the fire brigade and had to call the alarm company to reset the alarm and grovelled to several irate patients because you two disagreed over a smell?
It was no meagre smell.
It was no meagre disagreement.
It was embarrassing. Now, fortunately, not much damage has been done. Of course, if you don't count our reputation and our standing with our patients... Look, just apologise to each other, please, and be done with it.
Sorry.
Sorry. Well, that's something, I suppose.
I would just like to make it known that I will never be offering an act of such generosity again.
And I would just like to make it known that I'm relieved to hear it.
Dear.
So much for tact and sensitivity.
What's more, I can say that the investigating officer has no understanding whatsoever of the impulse behind art.
What are you doing? Dad's boss is here.
Where? She needs to be held accountable for oppressing the arts.
Give it a rest. How do you think this is going to look to Dad? Well, you're going to freedom fighter. Di rates him as it is.
You know, I feel sorry for you, Jack. Is there anything you'd fight for? What do we want?
Fantastic. Colin's family outing.
Imogen? Oh, that's just fantastic. Yeah, I'll try and have a word. And sorry.
Trouble?
My daughter's only leading the demonstration.
Ah, It should make for some interesting dinner-time conversation. Bella?
WPC is relieving her of the key.
Still taking her in, huh?
No, I don't think so. I think my boss is trying not to make arrests. She says that she recognises what she sees as youthful exuberance.
Well, you would die for something when you're young. For a cause. Maybe I would have died for art once. Then you meet someone, I would die for them. That's what I would die for. And I would have gladly given my life to save her.
Dad, what do you think you're doing? You can't just rush into an exhibition because you think it's not to someone's taste.
Method and observation, dear Hollins. This is a perfect mess. You were simply tasked with assessing the validity of the complaints.
There's nothing untoward here. Nothing untoward at all.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Right, I'll get that paperwork.
Do that, yeah.
Fancy?
Something you want to tell me?
Look, if you want me to apologise further to that silly woman, then I absolutely refuse.
Not what I meant.
I have absolutely nothing left to say on the matter.
Hiya, Cherry love.
Excuse me. You still that scar? No, I...
You done something to the alarms? You stupid idiot!
Look, Dan's a bit touchy-feely sometimes, but he wouldn't do that to me.
Maxine.